short introduction about myself. Naveen Kumar M. So I have around 13 years of experience in the data line. So primarily working for one of the IT industry, majorly handling the ETL database, modeling and the data warehousing stuff. Okay. So it's pretty much about my experience. And apart from my work related activities, I'll be blogging at C Shop Corner, D Zone, and Medium, and also I'm a C Shop Corner MVP. So yeah, pretty much that's an introduction. So let's get into the today's discussion. So if you see that today's discussion is all about discovering the wonders of Azure AI Studio and in-depth guide for the basics. So I'm not getting into much deeper in terms of how we are going to work that particular tool or the services. But before what that tool or service, we should understand the base, whatever the technology it is. We should strong on the base. Once we are strong on the base, the tool will be just handy for us to do any kind of transformation or any kind of the development work, right? So that's the session all about. So we are going to see the base of Azure AI Studio. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. So as an agenda, what you are going to see is what is the introduction to the Azure AI Studio and how AI Studio works. What is the architecture of the AI Studio and what are the core components. So when you want to play with Azure AI Studio, what are the core components you will be playing with that, and what is the features? What feature the AI Studio will provide, and let's see some use cases. And finally, we'll have a Q&A, and then let's go and show how the AI Studio looks and what we can do in a real time. So I can just quickly show that in the last. Okay. So first, let's get into the introduction. So AI Studio. So what is AI Studio? Okay, so AI Studio is a cloud-based platform, or you can say a web portal, which combines all the AI-related service to one unified platform for a developer or an AI engineer to bring up some generative AI applications to the market, right? So that's the AI Studio. For example, if you take the current services in Azure. So we have a Vision Studio. Okay, we have a separate. If you want to play with some image related activities or some video related items, you need to go to the Vision Studio and do your development activity. And if you want to do some OpenAI related things, you have to go to the OpenAI service and you do. And if you do have some content safety and you want to play with some document related, so extracting the key phrases from the document, doing the document analysis, and comes to the translators, text to text, speech to text, so those kind of things, and the language. So all those are available as a separate services in Azure. For example, I want to integrate my language service and the speech service, and I want to have some documentation in that one. Okay. So what I need to do, I will be combining all three services. I will be working on the language service, I will be working on the speech service, and I will be working on the document intelligence service. Those three separate studios I need to work. Finally, I need to integrate everything. But now Microsoft has come up with an Azure AI Studio, the unified platform. All those separate services are integrated into one umbrella. Okay, so just log into the Azure AI Studio. You want to do some development activity on the document intelligence, you have a provision to do that. You want to do something on the custom vision, computer vision or a vision, you have the provision, you can do that one. Or you want to access some models, machine learning models, chat prompt models, you want to have it, it's there. So all those are available in that single platform as an Azure AI Studio. Okay, so model catalog. So when I say the model catalog, it's all about the Chat GPT, which is moving in the market right now, right? The agents, the Chat GPT, the Copilot, Gemini from Google. So there are so many things are there, right? The Chat GPT models. So those are all like one prompt models which we can integrate and we can do those things. So this is a pretty much introduction about the AI Studio. So and it integrates all those services, right? As I said. So we want to do any development activity, just go to the Azure AI Studio, just play with all those services internally available. And currently, all those services are separately available in the Microsoft Azure, but it will soon maybe closed from the Azure Microsoft side. And going forward, we have to use Azure AI Studio. okay, moving forward. So that's a short introduction about the AI Studio. Now let's see what is that AI Studio works. Okay, what is the architecture of the AI Studio? Okay, so when I say an architecture, right, the two components we can see. One is hub, one is project. Okay, so when you want to go log into Azure AI Studio, if you want to do some development activity, you should have hub and project. Those two are the main components. Okay, and if you want to create a project, you should first create a hub. Okay, so what is Hub now? So Hub is the top level resource in the Azure AI Studio. Okay. When I say top level resource, what it means is, for example, when you have a Visual Studio, you want to create some C# application. What you will do, you will go and create a solution. Under the solution, you will have some references, assemblies, all those C# files, and that it will be there, right? And you will create some connection managers, the libraries you will add it. So you will be doing some set of prerequisite for your project, right? So this is the hub. The main activity which hub does is that one. Okay, so it provides a collaborative environment for a team to build and manage an AI application. Okay, so if you see that, look at this image, right? You can upload the data and then artifacts, and you can create the connections, the hub scoop connections, and the base model endpoints and compute, and you can create a policy related activities in the security and the governance. Okay, so that is all about the hub. And when it comes to the project, right, the project is the actual place where the developer go and play with it. So the development activity, it will be happening at the project level. Okay, so we can say the project is the child of hub, the child resource of the hub. Okay, and what are the connections you created at the hub level? We can integrate it in the project level as well. Okay, for example, I want to access one of the file from the blob storage. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll create a blob storage container connection at the hub level, and I'll create that file, put it in that file in that container, and I can access that file in my project. Okay, so what are the connections I'm creating at the hub? It can be accessed in the project level as well. Okay, so that is all about the project. Okay, now the next what we can see is I'll move to the next slide. So how AG Studio works, right? So what is the features? So I said that you can create connections and you can create or upload the artifacts. You can do the computing things and all, right? So those are all comes into the detailed features here. Okay, so when you say Azure AI Studio, when I say it's combining of multiple services where I want to integrate and I want to do some activities, right? So one of the thing is you can access blob storage, and you can create a Azure AI related survey connections or OpenAI connections. And if you want to have some speech, content safety, all those connections you can have it. And if you want to access any of the endpoints, okay, the REST API endpoints given by the OpenAI services, you can access to that one as well. And for all those things, you need to do some backend operations. Right? Some system has to be running at the backend. All right, the compute resource, so we can do that one, and we can go and have the policy related activities, which I said initially. So those are the things for the hub level. So apart from that features, what we can do right in the hub, we can go and create a member, and we can assign them the specific roles, what kind of a role that member has to be there. And we can create a compute instance which runs on the experiments and form flow and the compute model as well. And we can create and manage connection resources such as the data stores, GitHub, as I said, that AI and the OpenAI services as well. And the other thing is the defining the policy and regulate the behaviors. Okay, so this is all about the hub. When it comes to the project, so what we can do at the project level. So the project level, we can deploy the ChatGPT models, the LLM models, what we have it in the catalog, so we can deploy that model. We can test that in the playground where we have the playground, which I showed at the end in the demo. So where we can show the playgrounds and all, and we can add our own data, and we can create our own co-pilot, and we can create our own custom prompt to augment model itself. Okay, and we can create some evaluation models which can train, and it will validate and analyze the documentations as well. So those kind of small features, and we can do it at that project level. Okay. Next, let's get into the next one. So, what are the core components? So, as I said, now when you want to play with Azure AI Studio, the core components. One is the hub, the other one is the project. When you come into the project, so what you can do in the project, as I said, we can do multiple activities, right? So, to do that activities, our tasks are all segregated into different components. So, those are the components we are going to see now here. So, one is the model catalog, model benchmark, prompt catalog, Azure OpenAI, and AI service. Okay. So, what is model catalog? Let's get into deeper into what is model catalog. So, model catalog is the it can call it as a library where you can see all the pre-built machine learning models available in that one. So you can just go and pick any of the models and you can just integrate it to your generative AI applications. And it will not have only the models from Microsoft, it has the models from the third-party services as well, like Mistral, we have Meta, we have Core here, NVIDIA, Hugging Face. So if you want to integrate any of the models from Hugging Face, we still have an options to use it from this model catalog. And using these models, we can build a generative AI applications. So this is all about the model catalog. If you want to create any custom models, yes, there is an option to create. You can take any of the existing models and you can just tune it according to your needs. Okay. So this is all about the model catalog. Now let's get into what is model benchmark. So in the previous slide, we discussed about the model catalog, right? Assume that I'm taking a ChatGPT 4 Omni, the model for my one of the requirement. So how do I ensure that model suits for my business needs and how efficiently it performs? So how do I get those details? So using this model benchmark, I can compare the performance of my model and I can get the attributes like how fast it is, what is the speed, what is the accuracy, and what is the resource consumptions. Okay, so it will give me the graphical representation manner, so we can easily identify that okay, the model which I choose is best for my business requirement, or it's not. So I can go ahead and take some different model instead of this model. So it gives you the graphical representation. So this is all about the model benchmark. So the next one is a prompt catalog. So initially I said that the one of the thing is you can create your own prompting application as well. So if you want to do such things, go to the model catalog, pick some models, tune it, and if you want to create some prompting things, so come to the prompt catalog and you can do that. So in prompt catalog, pre-built prompting models are available. For example, the travel agency, if you want to do the travel agency related chat prompts are already available in the prompt catalog. So which you can just take it and you can plug and play with that one. So example, the travel, healthcare, those kind of inbuilt prompt catalog models are available. So how the prompt catalogs are segregated in the sense we can filter by the prompts like modality, industry, and task. Okay. So when it comes to modality, so example like we can say chat, completion, image, videos. So those are all the modalities where you can filter your prompt models. And when it comes to the industry, right now the Microsoft provides the retail and education. In future, they may add more industry related things there. And when it comes to tasks, so what kind of tasks we are going to perform there? Okay, the summarization, chat completion, question and answering, okay, and the feedback receiving. So such kind of tasks we can do that one. So this is all about the prompt. So just it will have the prompting related models in it. So that's all about the prompt catalog. Next, OpenAI services. So when I initially described about the Azure OpenAI Studio, right? So I told about we can access the REST API endpoints, correct? So when OpenAI is a separate service, you can go and do some development activity in the OpenAI service and get the REST API endpoint and the access key, and we can use it in the next services. So the same OpenAI is integrated in the AI Studio. So the same, no need to go and build it in the separate service. You can still build it in the AI Studio itself, and you can use those REST API access to access those all language models. So it can give me a adapter for your tasks and also whatever the task you want to do, like language, translator, speech. So So all those uh, connections you can use via the REST API, which can be the adapter for your Azure AI Studio. So this is all about the Azure Open. The next one is the AI service. So there's a generative AI applications. Okay. So the custom vision where we can say it in the current future when you go to the Vision Studio where you can see the image analysis, speech analysis, everything it will be there. So that is also integrated in the Azure AI Studio. So if you can see at that image, right, we have, when I go and click on this AI service, we can see the speech, language and translator. We have a vision and document and the content safety. So the earlier the content safety is a separate service. So if I want to play with something on the document service, I need to integrate my content service to it, and then I need to make sure my the contents are safety in the usage, right? So now this AI Studio comes by default with the content safety. Okay. So this is all about the core components. So what all we saw here is model catalog, which has the pre-built models from Microsoft, Hugging Face, all other third-party services. Okay, and the model benchmark is the second one. So model benchmarks gives me the comparison, and it provides me the performance and accuracy, how best my model is. Okay, and the third one is the prompt catalog, where we have an inbuilt prompting things, which is filtered by modality, industry, and the task. And the fourth one is an OpenAI service, which can be used for the REST API and you can create, and which can be act as an adapter for your AI Studio. And the next one is the AI service, where you can have the generative AI related applications like speech, language, document, everything. Okay, so this is all about the core components. So the next we'll see what about the features of Azure AI Studio. Okay, so when it comes to the features, you can build your own copilot. Okay, so it allows the user to interact with chatbots. For example, I say the travel related industry, they want to have their own chatbot. So where you want to give your writer need the number of days, it will give you the details. Okay, so that's kind of a build your own chatbot. And enterprise level chats, where the organizations, the retail industries or the logistical industries, where they have the enterprise own chatbots they can create. So I just type where is my order, it can give me the details. Okay, and incorporate multi-modalities. Okay, so where you can integrate multiple data types like image, videos, text, audio, everything you can integrate it. So that's a multi-modality. And when it comes to the speech analysis, okay, so I want to recognize the speech, who's this person, the speech is that. Okay, and for example, if I'm giving this session, so if someone wants to convert this session into an text, so we can use the speech service. Or I want to generate some custom captions. Okay, so we can use this and generate it. And secure error handling. Secure error handling is like when you have some confidential data. So when you are training using that, you want to customize and fine tune it so that whatever that information getting retrieved, it will be for this fine tuned information. So that's about the secure data handling and user friendly interface. Okay, so now AI Studio integrates multiple services, right? So that's one user-friendly interface for us. Or else we have to go to different services and we have to use that, right? And the pre-trained model, since we have this model catalog where we have the n number of, I think I didn't have the number, but it has a number of pre-trained models which is available. And scalability wise, the studio is very good, and you can just use that for your proof of concept through the production itself, and continuous monitoring and the governance. So when I say about the two components of that, how the AI Studio works in the hub and project, and in the hub you will be creating the connection. So how we are going to monitor it and how we are going to manage those connections. So once you're done with your project, how and when you trigger it, how we are going to monitor it. So it provides all those features as well. Okay, so this is all about the features of AI Studio. And the next, let's see what is the use case here. So it When we are building the generative AI application using the AI Studio, one of the thing is that improves the customer experience, right? So, as I said, one of the example is the logistic industries. Okay, so I'll go and check that is my order, why my order is getting delayed. So those informations, just quickly the customer interaction will be there. Okay, so when I want to have something related to the banking related one, so if you have some payment related services, so you can just chat with that agent and you can get it. So the models will give the appropriate answers to it and improving the work quality, right? So the co-pilot is one of the example, right? So it builds its own codes based on the prompt we give. So it, by the way, it reduces the developers' time because it default it gives code to us. So that wise we can the developer can concentrate on the other activity and he can give some value adds to the team or the organizations and reducing the organizational risk. So when it comes to the reducing the organizational risk, so we have our own models which we can fine tune it and use for our analytics purpose, right? And we can automate that and we can use that one. While automating, when it comes to an automation, the resources and the services which you are using, and when it comes to the monitoring, right? So this all those services comes into a one place where we can monitor and manage. So when doing those things, that organization things will be reduced. And when it comes to the enhanced productivity and efficiency, so obviously when developer has a time to concentrate on the other work, so obviously the productivity will get increased using this AI studio where the Copilot can write its own code, right? So this is all about the use cases. We have a few things, and next I can show you how to create a hub and how can we create a project. And I just show one document how we can see and extract or read the content from the document. Okay, so that's all about the theoretical basics. So any questions if you have, you can feel free to ask me. So probably shall I share my screen. Hope my screen is visible. So when I say that there's different types of studios we have, right? So Vision Studio. So this is the Vision Studio. If you want to relate anything, work on the image related activities, you can just log into this service and we'll work on it. And similarly, when you want to work with something on the document, we have a separate document intelligence studio. See, these are all the separate services we have available in the Azure. But when it comes to the OpenAI, so we have one more speech as well, right? I'll show the speech. So this is the speech studio which is getting. So okay. So this is the document related where we can read the layout, general, the pre-built documentations models are available. And similarly for the speech, where we can caption the speech to text and live our chat avatars. Okay, so let's get into the AI Studio, ai.azure.com when you log in. So it will directly open that AI Studio. So when you first log into AI Studio, this is your all about your screen looks. And initially, I explained about the the model catalog. So when I click the model catalog, you will see all the pre-built models. It's loading. So here you have see A21 Java, and we have few GPT and all we have. So if you scroll down, you can see Meta, Mistral, and the models from NVIDIA, Cohere, and these are all from Hugging Face. And when it comes to model benchmark, which I say that it gives you the comparison and between the models, and it can choose which is the best model for you. So this is the charts: model accuracy, model coherence, model groundness. So we have all lots of things in there. So this is all about the benchmark. So here it gives the points where you can choose the things. Next, the prompt catalog. So here the inbuilt prompting models are available, and the OpenAI service. So you can just click start your service. You can create a new service where you have a playground for the chat related applications. And the last, the AI related services like speech, language, vision, everything. And when it comes to the monitoring phase, you can have the hubs, resource, and keys. Now let's go and create a new project here. Okay, so initially I said hub, right? But here you can see the project. So by default, when you are creating the project, your hub will get created. Okay, so I'm going to create a new hub. Click next. So I'm going to give season AI tip. Okay, so I click next. So it's going to create a project for me. So we are going to create multiple services here. See here, one is the project it's creating, and one is the hub, and it's going to create a AI service for me, and the storage account and the keyword. So by default, when you're creating the project at the back end, all these services are automatically created. So you may not no need to go and create it separately for this. Okay, so let it get created. So it will take a couple of minutes to create. Let's give a few more minutes to complete. Yeah, so the project has been created. So when I go and click on the current project, so here you can see the my services which is got created. And initially when I show the model catalog, model benchmark, prompt catalog, OpenAI and AI services. So now we are inside the project of my ID is shown. So here we have code, prompt flow, and the tracing, evaluation, and the fine tuning. One of the features we discussed, right, the fine tuning. So this is all. And where we can get the data from the storage. And so this is the project. So now we have created a hub and the project. So I go to the project level at the top. So we can see the hub here. So this is the project we have here. The season of AI demo is the hub which we created and the resource which is using that. Okay. So let's go to that one of the AI service. So if I want to do something at the document, so I'll just click on the document. So here we have the inbuilt documentation, the invoices, receipts. Let's take one of the invoice. So I'm going to use any existing record itself. So I'll select that hub and then I'll select it. So once I select my hub, it will give me the sample documents here. You can see that here. So it's getting loaded. So initially I selected my hub, it integrates my project as well. So this is the console invoice we have. So when I click on run analysis, so it will just do the analysis on that and it will highlight the fields. So here if you can see here that what are the fields, it has the house number, city, state address, the building informations and the customer address, everything. So if you have multiple documents, example you have some employees information as a payslip, as in that a payslips you have. So just you can upload some 5 files and you need to label all those fields which you needed. Okay, for example, I want to know only the employee name and this what is the tax he has paid for the current month. Okay, so just you can label the employee name and the tax. Okay, so you have to label 5 of the documents and then you can train it, and when you upload any of the sample document it will extract automatically and it will show you. So this is the good thing on the documentation. Okay, so that's all pretty much I have for the today's session. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer it.